Today in the crypto space, we see the market still going sideways, Bitcoin still hovering around that $25,600 mark, and Ethereum right around that $600 level. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, could be coming down to those lower levels or maybe getting a bit of a bounce. Look at Kaspa today, looking pretty strong. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin, and this altcoin, of course, is Kaspa. Look at it deep in the green. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of this market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. If there are any projects that I'm going to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, join the Discord, guys. The Discord is a great community, lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, learning materials, and a very supportive community. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Let's take a look at what is happening here, not only with my computer, because I don't know what that is, but nonetheless, let's take a look what is happening here with this crypto space still going sideways. Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, and many more. Of course, these stable coins, gladly, they're still going sideways. But the reality is, even though some of these altcoins are getting some bullish fundamentals, good bullish news, they're not really doing much. Look at Solana. Solana right now should be rallying. A nice, good bullish scenario with regards to Solana partnering up with Visa, doing their thing with Visa, and that should be such a bullish catalyst, not only for Solana but for the rest of the crypto space. But guess what? Nothing really happened, and that for me is somewhat concerning, and it's a bit of an indicator what the overall sentiment is here with regards to this market. Like, are we actually expecting a beginning of a bull run right now? And my opinion is, obviously none of this is financial advice, guys. It's very important that you get your own convictions, of course, and use what I say as just confluence, as an indicator. But nonetheless, I do feel that the market in general is not giving me that indication that we are ready to run up for a bull run. Okay, so be careful with all of these projects that are running up. If there are any good projects that have run up, always think defensive. Look both ways, bullish and bearish. If, for example, you might see a good project run up. Of course, today we're talking about Kaspa. This is definitely about Kaspa. It did run up, and a lot of projects do run up, like even Trotten right now, TRX running up only 1%. I know Kaspa right now is up 14%, but the idea here is are you going to buy into the green? Are you going to be buying into the pump? Is it possible? Is it just possible that you might be exit liquidity? And what is the reason for the pump other than, basic fundamentals? Maybe transaction rates, or, wallet addresses are increasing, or whatever the case may be. On-chain metrics might be there to support it, but nonetheless, you see that the market is not supporting that, and the overall sentiment in even TradFi is not supporting that. So we got to keep these things in mind. Right now, we see a lot of these altcoins still going sideways. AVAX, a little bit of a rally up for Chainlink, but nothing crazy. And the rest of the market, the overall consensus, as can be seen, is sideways or dipping. But of course, we have Kaspa right now up 16.1%, 17% in 7 days, guys. That is super bullish. Now, if you were able to catch my live stream yesterday, we did call this potential rally. This was one of the expectations. This was the opportunity that I was talking about with regards to Kaspa getting bullish only on the 4 hour. The daily had a little bit more to prove, but the 4 hour looked super bullish, especially with regards to risk to reward ratio scenarios, right? So Kaspa right now is definitely fulfilling the TA from last night. If you happen to catch it, great. If not, you can always go take a look to verify and to kind of see what the mindset was when we were calling this potential rally up. But right now, Kaspa is looking good, extremely strong. However, the time now is to be defensive. You want to be able to keep these double-digit gains. You don't want to give them back to the market. market, you want to be able to stay one step ahead and protect your gains. That's one of the major priorities right now, especially when you're deep in the green. Okay, we're gonna definitely take a look at the price action, the charts and all of that to come up with a plan, and of course we'll come up with a good solid scenario. Whether we go up or down, we want to be prepared. Okay guys, so generally speaking, let's look at this market. Still going sideways. Synthetics taking a bit of a pullback, up 17% in 7 days, but still getting that pullback as expected. Pullbacks do happen, and when you're in a bear market, or even if you want to call this a transitionary phase of the bear market leading into a potential bull market, retracements are super deep. That's why we see sideways price action. If our retracements weren't deep, we would be trending in one direction. Right now, the direction is not very clear. That's why we're getting deep retracements, almost one-to-one retracements. That's why you're getting a sideways channel, right? So generally speaking, if the market's doing that, expect a lot of altcoins to do that as well, right? Synthetics is trying to create its range, and big picture, it might be respecting a range. Right now, I don't see much of synthetics price action. So we just got to be clear here. Synthetic has been doing a great job, 17% to the upside. If you happen to get in at the bottom, it's about trying to protect those gains. What else do we have here? Algo, bottom of the range. A lot of these at the bottom of the range. We have Radix that rallied up yesterday and currently still up, looking pretty good. I'm expecting a bit of a pullback in the short term, but not much. So a little bit of a rally is also expected. I don't know how much of a rally, but I definitely want to take a look at Radix and keep up with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start a list. I'm going to put Radix at the top of the list for tonight's live stream at 7:30 Eastern. Feel free to join, guys. And of course, if you have any projects that you want me to cover live, that is the greatest place and time to make those requests. We'll take a look at your charts or projects that you're interested in, and I'll put them in top priority. But for now, I want to take a look at Radix. We'll have it at the list right now, and we'll take a look. Render going sideways. We have ApeCoin going sideways. Myota still grinding to the upside, slow and steady, in double-digit gains in the last 7 days. So that's, getting to those scenarios where you want to be, cognizant of the fact that it's getting risky to hold for longer. And trending coins, I like looking at this once in a while. We see, I don't even know what this is. Tamadoge, okay, fine. Bella, we saw this yesterday, hanging around here, 12% today, pretty good. Gala, another 19% to the downside. ApeCoin still falling. Sandbox, Polygon is falling a little bit, and Trust Wallet still hanging around there, going sideways, but down approximately 4%. General consensus for me, guys, you can't deny. You can't deny the market has a vision, and currently this vision is sideways accumulation, potential dips, and accumulation. That's it. It's all about accumulation. And if there is a project that has rallied up, get defensive, come up with a strategy, be objective. Try not to focus only on one way. I always say when you cross the street, you look both ways, and there's a reason for that. All right, let's get right into it. I know you're here to talk about Bitcoin price action. Let's do it. Bitcoin, what are you telling us? Bitcoin right now is not telling us much. You can see that we're consolidating, going sideways here on the 8 hour. Let's jump into the daily for a second. We can see that the class B, maybe bullish divergence, is still intact. It's slightly downward sloping nowadays. If we exclude the wicks, you can see this potentially class A bullish divergence, and the price action is slightly dripping down to lower levels. So where could we actually get support? I'm looking at about 25,000, give or take, right around that range once again. And then we can see this horizontal level of support potentially act as support. And we can see the price action looking left, that it definitely confirms that, as previous tops definitely there to act as that support. So we're going to keep an eye at about 25,000. And then of course, if Bitcoin does fall down to lower levels, we're going to take it day by day, guys, day by day. Now on the 4 hour, it looked pretty bullish. It looked pretty good. Rallied it up, and then it kind of fell back down. Now we're in the chop zone on the RSI. I feel like Bitcoin could definitely get fully reset to oversold conditions on the 4 hour, and the daily still consolidating here at the bottom of the range. And do we potentially backtest this momentum and maybe get a lower high? It could be that we get a lower high, or a higher high, or a higher low. In this case, a nice higher low would be great, but while the price action comes down, that would be class A bullish divergence. So again, what I mean by this higher low is something like this. Still remaining an upward sloping trend on the RSI, right? But still, the price action could, based on this little dip on momentum, could make a lower low. And that would be Class A bullish divergence. So we got to keep this in mind. I'm just keeping it out there just in case, because again, as a leading indication, Bitcoin could fall. And guess what's going to happen to the alts? The likelihood is that they get a bit of a dip. Doesn't mean that they're going to really fall hard, but you can see that altcoins such as Kaspa in the short term could still get nice pumps to the upside. 16% right now, doing pretty good. Okay, let's jump right into it. Nothing much more to be said here on Bitcoin. We'll talk about Bitcoin a little bit more in tonight's live stream, and we can even get into a little bit more theory with regards to Kaspa and other projects. But Kaspa right now is definitely one of those projects that people are looking at. You know, the Discord communities, the Telegram communities are very bullish, very bullish, very maximalist mentality. And for me, that's a very problematic thing, because when you have a maximalist mentality, you definitely are encouraged emotionally to be connected. And emotional connection to an asset in a sideways price action type of scenario, or in this case, a market, even traditional finance, not showing that type of support, leads me to believe that you're taking too much risk, right? So now I don't know if Kaspa is going to make that higher high. It could definitely make that higher high. Yeah, nobody knows if it's going to make that higher high or not. And the fact that it didn't get fully reset is a sign of bullishness, right? On the daily, you can see that the momentum didn't get fully reset. However, we are still in the chop zone. It's still possible that we get that full reset. Like, look at the last time we came down to this area in the chop zone. We fell below, got a bit of relief to the upside, you know, got people all encouraged that we might get another leg to the upside, but guess what it did? It got rejected in that chop zone, it chopped around a little bit more, and then finally fell down. And if you could look at this last fractal, it could play out the same way, where you get those peaks, you get those valleys, and then, you know, you get a bit of a pump where people get bullish. And right now, you got to admit, right now is the time to be hunting for exit liquidity. Those whales at the top are definitely looking for that exit liquidity right now. This is a second opportunity, right after this bearish divergence. I'm going to highlight this very clear on the daily. Look at these two tops, upward sloping, okay? And if you look at the potential scenario here on the RSI, it is downward sloping, very clear. That's Class A bearish divergence. This could be the last opportunity for profit taking on these tops. They're looking for exit liquidity. Now, I'm not saying that this can't break to the upside, because it's all about probability. Even this ascending wedge, statistically speaking, it should break down, but it may even still break up. So we got to do is understand risk to reward, number one. Number two, we got to be open to the possibility that anything could happen, but it's all about statistics. Statistically speaking, it should continue to the downside. We see that the bearish momentum is still to the downside. We did not get that full reset. The MACD, yesterday we discussed the MACD on the 4 hour. So let's jump to the 4 hour for a second, and let's look at what's happening in the local time frame, which means on the 4 hour, and look at this green pump and how it actually played out, and to see if it's sustainable. Right now, you can see that the overall 4 hour momentum is overbought, very overbought. It got into the extreme zone, higher than it's ever been, pretty much in a while. And the last time it was here, and it rallied up. Okay, fine. It rallied up, back test, rallied up, back test. But it's not sustainable, because right now we're waiting for a back test, like it has done in the past. A little bit of a correction. Every correction. Look at this correction. Look at this correction. Now, this is a severe correction. It's a big trend. You can see that. Now, are we going to just make one huge V recovery all the way back to the top? Guys, it doesn't happen, right? So the reality is you're taking a bit of risk holding expecting it to go all the way back to all-time highs in price discovery. That's a bit of a risk. So better yet, is to think about risk management. Right now, getting into fresh longs is super risky. You can see that we're overbought on the 4 hour. The MACD still looking good. EMA is facing up, green histogram bars to the upside. I'm not saying that you should be exiting positions right now. What you should be doing is getting into a very defensive mode, being protective of your gains. Now, you can see that breakout was beautiful. This is what we talked about yesterday. The bullish divergence both on the RSI and the MACD is definitely playing out, while this price action here at the bottom went sideways, and we broke out of this range, out of this consolidation here with some nice conviction. The volume was decent, nothing more than previous volume. You can see that, right? This volume, let me kind of thicken this up a bit. Look at this volume is actually less than this impulse, and this impulse was smaller. This impulse to the downside was a lot bigger, and look at this. right? It's a lot lower. So meaning there's not much more conviction in this impulse to the upside than the previous impulses. I would have loved to see a lot more volume, and a lot more volume would mean a lot more conviction. So what I'm saying here is the volume is not supporting a continuation, in my opinion. Obviously, none of this is financial advice, guys. It's all about risk management. It's a bit risky where we are right now. If you do look left, we have a lot of consolidation. We do have a bit of a volume gap coming to these levels that could act as resistance, and we have Fibonacci extension retracement levels, which are about right around this zone. We did this live yesterday, right at the top of the volume gap. We have the golden pocket 618, and you can see that this level could act as resistance, right? Previous high. Let's get to this. Let's contest with this zone, this previous high first, before we basically make that judgment call that we are not going, that we're going to go at higher levels, right? Right now, even if you got the swing high from this high, right, to swing low as a local retracement, we're hitting the golden pocket as we speak right now, nonetheless. So we got to be careful here. This is time to be very defensive on your game, right? You want to make sure that you can walk away with the gain. So what I mean by that is if you happen to get in this consolidation, I would be putting a stop loss at least at break even, at minimum break even. It would be nice to put it in profit. And obviously that all depends on when you got your entry. Now, if you happen to get your entry nice and low, I would be putting a stop loss slightly below these tops right here. Why? Because you're giving a little bit of wiggle room. You can see that 15 to 20 EMA here on the 4-hour could act as support, and right around this area, it wouldn't be a bad zone to say, you know what, if we do backtest, I'm hoping that these tops, maybe this one will act as a support and potentially get another bounce for a continuation, right? But there's no guarantee here. I personally feel Kaspa is going to be coming down a lot more on the daily time frame. We're going to get there once we get there. We want to get this rally done. We want to see where this rally is actually going to go. If it's actually going to make that higher high. Right now, there's nothing suggesting that we're making a higher high, big picture, on the 4-hour. We have this volume gap that we're going to deal with. We got the point of control that we got to deal with. We need a back test at least of this 200 EMA on the 4-hour at minimum to suggest that we're going to get a spring continuation to the upside. But given the fact that the momentum did the majority of the move already is in, we got to hope that this momentum stays here in overbought conditions longer for it to sustain a continuation to the upside with some strength. Okay, so this is the issue here with the 4-hour. It's not a good place to get into fresh longs. If you are in a long position, you should be defensive. Trail up the stop loss at minimum, take a bit of profit, and let the rest ride. That way, no matter what happens, you exit your position in profits. Okay, so that's the idea here. Back into the daily, we'll kind of bounce back now. And now that we saw what happened here on the 4-hour, we can say, look, it did rally up. It's still in the chop zone here on the daily. As we can see on the RSI, it's in the 50% zone, and we know every time we get into the 50% zone, we get chop action. That's fine. We did not get oversold. We have gotten oversold in the past. Does it have to happen this time? No, it doesn't. But it would be nice to get in an oversold condition to ensure that there is no possibility or a decreased possibility for it to come down even further. Right now, all you're getting is a bit of relief to the upside like we've done in the past. Relief to the upside. Look at this. Relief to the upside and then retracement. Did we actually pivot here? Like we did here? It's possible, but we would like to see a back test. Let's see what happens upon a bit of a back test, if we create that lower low or not. This could have been a back test with the lower low, and then we get class A bullish divergence, and then you get in with conviction. Right now, there's no conviction. We need to wait. There's not enough information on the daily to actually get us bullish here on Kaspa. Although fundamentally, I like Kaspa. I really do. Fundamentally bullish. I want to buy a bigger bag. I want to be able to accumulate. And I've been saying that since the beginning of my journey with Kaspa, that I want Kaspa, in fact, to be the biggest holding that I own. However, guys, when I see opportunities to take profits like I've done in the past right here, and I made this very clear that I took profits here on the Discord, guys, it's the smartest thing to do when you see things rally up with so much conviction. Look at this overbought scenario here on the daily. Now I would like to get long in oversold conditions like I got long here. Okay, now it doesn't have to happen. Like I said, risk to reward. Now we can see that we have some horizontal support, which I appreciate. We do have the volume gap below with a bit of weakness, not too crazy amount, but a bit of weakness right here. And I'm looking for some support right within this range. We got our first support zone. So that's why I was willing to get in. My only issue was we didn't get oversold. So other factors played out. We got nice bullish divergence on the MACD. We got an EMA cross. We got a green histogram bar. We got horizontal support. So I said, you know what? I'm not oversold on the daily. So what? Let me get into the 4 hour. And the 4 hour gave it to me. Now I'm going to be trading the 4 hour. I'm not waiting for the daily to get overbought once again. I'm going to wait for the 4 hour to show me bearish divergence. And then I'm going to slowly be taking profits and increasing my stop loss as we continue to the upside. So there's one thing to be, fully convicted for longer term. And there's one thing to be convicted for a short-term play. Right now, I choose, based on risk to reward, based on statistics, to get in on a short-term play. Because at the end of the day, I feel like the 4 hour is showing me a zone that I need to start protecting my gains. Okay, so this is the idea here. Back into the daily, right? Let's stick with the daily for a second. Now, from a bullish perspective, if we continue with this bounce, we need to get above this, all this work. This needs to be resolved. We need to break above. I would say the biggest level of resistance would be at about 4 cents. Okay, 0.04 for me, that would be the greatest area of resistance. Above that, we start to diminish that resistance. However, we could still get rejected at 4.5 cents and so on, depending on how much strength we have left in the bullish move, the bullish momentum. But ultimately, if you're looking for extension levels, this is what we could apply. Swing high to swing low. And this is the swing low right now as we speak. And we can be looking for 1.27 extensions at about 6 cents and 1.618 extension levels at about 6.5 cents. So for me, that would be ultimately the next level of TPs. At this level, I did make that announcement that I sold half my Kaspa position. If we get to this level, I'll be taking another half of that half that was left over. And at 1.618 extension, golden pocket extension level, I will exit my entire Kaspa short-term spot position. Okay, so that means that I'm willing to empty out my bag for my short-term spot and wait for that retracement if it happens. And the probability is that we'll get a nice retracement, even it's to come back and test the zone once again. Guys, it's about riding the ebb and flows. Peaks and valleys are meant to be traded if you're a trader. If you're a long-term holder or an investor, fine, accumulate, hold, long-term, bullish, fundamentals, all that good stuff. On-chain analytics, if you're into that, that is all great. But at the end of the day, a trader looks for peaks and valleys, and you want to capitalize on those ebb and flows. So let's put some arrows in. I'm looking at, taking a bit of profit here for sure. I'll take half on that half that I have left, and then I'll exit the rest of it right here. Right, so which is for me a great scenario if I can exit completely and then see what happens in this market. If we are, still in a bear market, maybe we make a lower low. Who knows? We could come all the way back down here. If you don't anticipate that that's possible, that's a very scary thing. Okay, number one. Number two, let's say that we are in a transitionary phase where we're going sideways, an accumulation phase. Ideal place to see a retracement would be at about 3 cents. For me, that would be healthy. Okay, very healthy. About 3 cents would be so fine. In fact, I would be even expecting a 2 cent Kaspa at worst case scenario. At worst, and I'll be definitely deploying capital to help this price pump back to the upside because I am absolutely bullish. But if you look at the measured move of an ascending wedge like this one that we could potentially be painting right now, guys, it doesn't look good. The probability is that we come right back down to the base of the wedge. If you look at any textbook regarding technical analysis, and if you think that Kaspa is going to defy technical analysis, you're making a very big mistake. Okay, fundamentals are great. Sure, on-chain is great, but they're not going to hold up the price in a bear market. Risk-off assets right now are getting slaughtered. Why? Because nobody trusts traditional finance, where it's still in speculation. So be very careful here. Be prepared with some capital here at the bottom of the range. If it does happen, you will be grateful to have some cash to be able to deploy and be able to build a position at a stronger level, which would be down at this level. Now, keep in mind the 200 daily EMA is right at the zone. If we do come down to about, 2.5 cents, 2.7 cents, this would be also a great place for the 200 EMA to come in as a spotter to act as a level of support to get that bounce right back up and maybe finally hit that 1.27, 1.618 if we don't get it right now. Ultimately, I'm looking for TPs, guys. I'm looking for TPs. In fact, I'll be taking profit at the golden pocket as well. Even if we don't get the double top or extension levels, I'll be exiting positions along the way. Now, if we come here, I'll be exiting as much as I can until I empty out completely. But I'm taking bit profit here, especially once we see this 4 hour showing me bearish divergence. I want to see some price action right here that shows me that the bears are done. And I might even get into the 4 hour, the 1 hour. Now, if you look at the 1 hour, there's no bearish divergence yet, so it's still strong. I'm not going to say it's not. It's still strong on the 1 hour. EMAs are the histogram bars are looking good, nice and green. EMAs are still up, looking good. No bearish divergence there. The RSI, no bearish divergence, still sloping to the upside, and so is the price action. However, guys, we're very, very overbought, and we're overbought on the 1 hour, we're overbought on the 4 hour, and just the daily is still in the chop zone. So I hope I was able to provide some value here, guys. The idea here is to practice safe trading by using proper risk management. Risk management is very important here, guys. You don't want to be left on the wrong side. You don't want to be exit liquidity. You want to be able to buy low and sell high. That's the way you become profitable. And every time frame, there's always retracements. So if on the daily you're bullish, expect a bit of a retracement, at least down to the golden pocket 618, something like that, and be able to buy the dip on those retracements, guys. Thank you for stopping by. If you haven't yet, do the channel a huge favor, slap that like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join me live tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we can talk about crypto news and price action, particularly Kaspa. Right now, Kaspa is a hot topic. Of course, it's rallying up, leading the market to higher levels. However, we need to be prepared. So join me live at 7:30, where we get involved with Kaspa and Bitcoin or any other projects that you're interested in. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.